Okay, so a common question people want to know really is, how much am I going to make doing this? Really, that's the bottom line why people do anything, is what am I getting out of it?
Right. Well, yeah. So with any business or real estate, when you have a job, pretty much the most you can make is whatever the CEO or the president or the sheriff or the principal or whatever business you're in, the top person, what they make, that's as far as you can theoretically go. There's your limit. Whenever you're in business or real estate, your profit potential is unlimited. So that's one of the great things about being in business, is you don't have the ceiling over your head. So the average profit in the United States, I saw this in some statistics somewhere, so I can't 100% verify it, but the average that people were making on flips was somewhere between $30,000 and $40,000 a flip. Now that can vary greatly from one market to another. The other thing you have to consider is you can make a lot less on one deal and do a lot of deals and still make more money on the same money. So for example, if I could just do rent-ready stuff where I buy the property, fix it up, doesn't have a lot of work that needs to be done, I get it rented and I sell it, and I only made $10,000, and I did one a month, I made $120,000 in a year off of that same money that I just moved from one property to another. On the other hand, if I put a lot more work in it, did a major rehab, it took me 6 months, and I made $40,000, and I did that twice a year, I'd make $80,000 a year, but I'd make more per deal. I'd make $40,000 a deal instead of $10,000 a deal. So a lot of this has to do with the rate at which you can keep your money moving from one deal to another. Most of the time, I would say with amortization, appreciation, and cash flow, you should be making at least 10% a year on a finance property. That's where the loan is being paid off. That's the property appreciating. After vacancies, repairs, and other expenses, 10% is kind of a minimum. I like to see between 15 and 20%. If you structure it right and do the deals right, I think this is the kind of money that is possible. So this really depends on too what your strategy is. So buy and hold, when you put the money in there, how much money you're making, the return on your investment also has to do with how much of your own money you have invested. And there's kind of a mix that can happen. So let's say you buy a property for $60,000. You spend $20,000 to fix it up. It's worth $100,000 when it's done. You refinance it with the bank. The bank gives you back the $80,000 that you put into it, the $60,000 to buy the $20,000 to fix it up. And now you have none of your own money invested. The $20,000 down payment they want is the equity that you created by fixing it up. Now you've got none of your own money invested, so you have what they call an infinite return on your money. If they gave you all your money back but $5,000, and you were having average returns on a buy and hold rental property, your returns could be really high, a lot higher than somebody who just buys a property that's already been fixed up by somebody else. There'd be that greater potential. There's also a greater potential for loss, because all the people I know in the business, most of the time, they make money when they fix these properties up and they sell them, but every now and then they lose money. But on average, a property that is between $50,000 and $150,000 that gets fixed up and sold as a rental, most of the vendors and rehabbers we know will make around $15,000 to $20,000 per property, and it will cost them around $15,000 to $20,000 to fix it up on average. Sometimes being less, sometimes being more. That's just the average on people who do it on a regular basis.
Okay, wow. So that's some very good, some really good guidelines that we use for our clients. And it's great to know that this is what the clients should do on their own too. Thanks.
Welcome.